This is how to position your dowel rod on your weaving and hang it. This is a 12-inch, half-inch thick dowel rod, and really simply pushing it through the loops that were created at the top of your weaving. This particular loom and weaving created a lot of space between the end of my weaving and my dowel rod. So in order to move my dowel rod closer, I'm going to loop the warp thread loops at the top around my dowel rod a few times. This you can do to your desired length. I am positioning this one rather closely, and it's going to be very tight around the dowel rod. As you continue to do this, you just want to be sure that your warp thread loop is being as near to the end of your dowel rod as possible, depending on how tightly you loop it around. Again, the tighter your loops and the closer you want your dowel rod to be to your weaving, you want to be sure that those warp threads are as close to the end of your dowel rod as possible. Every time you add a new loop, be sure to push the previous warp threads farther down the dowel rod. Once you've completed your final loop, you just want to push each set of warp threads down your dowel rod so that you can center your weaving. This may take a few times depending on how tightly you have looped your warp threads around your dowel rod. Once your warp threads are placed on your dowel rod, it is ready to hang. This weaving is small enough that only one nail is needed. Once it's hung, I can hold on to the dowel rod and straighten different parts of my weaving, including the width and the length, combing out the fringe. Your weave, if done properly, should be tight enough to withstand some tugging and pulling, just to straighten some things out. Once your weaving has been straightened out to your desire, you can either leave the fringe as uneven as you'd like or cut it into various angles. I prefer the straight across, and I usually just eyeball it, but you can also measure this section as well. Continuing to straighten out and comb the fringe as I go. Once I've trimmed my fringe, I'll go through one last time, comb out the fringe, straighten any parts that I think are necessary, pulling down on that fringe again just to make sure everything is nice and even.